All right, you're good to go.
Okie doke. Hey guys, so tonight we've got Kristi. Muted me. Could you read my list? I'm like, you've muted me.
Sorry.
So we've got Kristi on the line, and she's going to give us some tips on how to build on Instagram. She is the founder of Gem Fit. She started coaching in September of 2014, and she just recently had her 2-year anniversary. She also became Success Club 10 Legend in September. 2015 Premier Coach, where she was ranked number 293 out of 450,000 coaches. She's size certified. Whoop, whoop, go live certification. And she is ACE certified personal trainer and an RN. She actually did, you quit your full-time, you quit? Yes? You left your full-time job as a nurse?
Well, I do still work per diem, but it's like at very minimal hours. So yes, I left my full-time RN job 4 months after I started. Yes.
Woohoo! Awesome. And she is a member of the Birmingham Market Council, and she's also a 3-star diamond. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and we're excited to hear all your tips.
Thank you so much. Although I'm so embarrassed to say, like my size certification, I've like not been doing it. It's so hard because it takes up so much time to like learn and then turn around and teach. And I'm like, you just got to pick and choose where you spend your time. You can't do it all. So
I just certified Turbo Kick, so I get it.
Oh, yeah. It's very time consuming, and it's fun, but it's not a priority. So I had to cut it for a little bit. But yes, thank y'all so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about Instagram. I love Instagram. Since I started, like I said, back in September 2014, I was that type that was shy, introverted. Like before I got married, I would hide behind my parents. Then when I used my husband, like I just didn't talk to anybody. So like I didn't even have an Instagram account. I had a Facebook, but I was definitely the person that was creeping everybody else's and stalking their page. I was not posting anything. Because like back a little bit more about me, when I was a nurse, I was like super stressed. It seems like that's a common conception with coaches, that they all have some type of background where mine was the depression and anxiety, and people can relate to that, I'm sure. But so like I didn't want to be seen. I wasn't going to take no pictures. I was no confidence whatsoever. But so it was very, very hard when I was approached about it in 2014. But like I said, I was unhappy as a nurse. I never got to spend time with my husband, and it just was going downhill fast. So I was like, I got to do something. So I was one of those rare, let's jump in, 2 feet forward, let's do it, whatever it takes. Had no clue what I was doing, but I took that massive leap of faith and just trusted the process. So I was like, that my coach, I actually had been because I was studying for my personal trainer exam when they approached me. I was like, oh no, I don't know nothing about that. I was loving the gym and really had terrible nutrition. I was one of those that worked out and then went and ate a piece of pizza or something, and I wouldn't see the results that I wanted. So I knew that this is, I was going to give it a try. So when I did, what I was saying is I met my upline sponsor. Y'all might know him, Nate Rosano. He spoke on stage at the New Leadership Conference last year, if y'all were there. But I found him on Instagram because he's actually doing an Insanity Max 30. He was doing like a giveaway, and I was like, oh, I want to try that. It looked pretty intense. So I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, let's do this. So I went all in Instagram because, like I said, I had a Facebook, but I wasn't really there. So I just created an Instagram and said, let's go with it. So I just wanted to share 10 tips on what has helped me grow my business at least 80% one, some of you probably this, and the other you're probably gonna like cringe, but you've got to have, this is with any social media, Facebook too, if people cannot see what you're doing, then how can they follow you? How can they know you're a coach and willing to help them? So, and on top of that, so oftentimes when I sign a new coach or something, they're like, okay, well, I have a lot of my kids' pictures on my public page, so I'm just going to create a separate fitness account. Don't do that, because there's so many people that are already into fitness, or they know about Beachbody. If they wanted Beachbody, they can go to beachbody.com and get whatever program they need. But it goes back to, again, how can they relate to you specifically and not me? I mean, because we know there's 475,000 of us, so there's a lot of us, but there's also that 2 million people that are still overweight and obese that still need us. So we have to make sure that we are making ourselves visible, and on top of having one account and it being public, there was some recent changes where it made it to where you can make your Instagram account a business profile now too. I strongly encourage that. It even has the contact button at the top where they can email you, which I too have, and I'm going to get into the bio, but I have my email link in my bio. But having that business profile, I don't know if y'all seen the new Insights. It's like your like page on Facebook, but it's incredible because you can go in and look and see what of my posts are doing the best, who is engaging. And I was looking just last night to follow up, and it was like 75% of my, and then it said most of them are 25 to 34, and then the next biggest chunk are 30s, which is my target. Both those ranges are, and then it shows you which of your posts are getting the best engagement. And I learned easily that people on Instagram, from my standpoint, they love motivation and they love humor. And I can easily post something funny that I found on Pinterest there, but if I turn around and post that same thing on Facebook, it gets like 2 likes, because the Facebook world likes to see your face more, which Instagram does too, don't get me wrong, but they would do better to post your face with a quote on it, and your family. I don't want to get off topic there, but my followers love motivation and humor. And you can see that. It will show you how many likes, how many engagements, how many people actually saw it. It's just huge to have that. I mean, and it's free to make it a business profile, so I strongly encourage that. Number 2 goes into talking about your bio and your picture. And this is, again, your picture is the same. I'm sure y'all have heard it with Facebook too. Make sure it's your face. Like, and a lot of people, actually mine's not right now, but it's kind of a good thing to have the same picture that you have on Facebook, that you have on Instagram, so that people can easily find you. But regardless, make sure they can look at the picture, and it's not like a big group and they're like, who is she? So I even was told at one point, make it specifically me and don't even have my husband in it. But I don't know how that goes. I think that would be okay if you wanted your family in it, as long as you are visible in it and showing your face. For your bio, y'all might know this too, but you can go into your notes section on your phone and create it. I don't know if y'all's might already be that way, or you can see different people. Make sure it's like different lines to where it's not just like a big blah of words all run together. But mine, as fitness coach Kristi K is mine, but you can see like I have, wife, peanut butter lover, whatever, lab mom, nurse, CB, personal trainer, like each on its own line, so it looks really clean. And then also in my bio, I have my link to my Facebook page. I'm sorry, not my Facebook page, or maybe I have my Facebook page and my email, I'm not sure. But wherever, I wouldn't tell you to do like your Beachbody profile on there because you don't want it to seem too salesy, but maybe your Facebook link, or if you have a blog, I don't have a blog, a YouTube link, another platform, whichever platform you feel strongest on, I would make that visible and easy to access for them as well. Number 3, hashtags. They're a game changer. Like I've been telling my coaches, and they're finally starting to use them more. We can use 30, not 1 over. I had one coach, she was like, Kristi, I'm trying to post this. It's rejecting it every time. And she went back and she was like, oh my gosh, I had 31 hashtags and it like kept rejecting it. So you can only have 30. And I usually will do 1 or 2 on the actual post, and I'll do the other 28 down below, because you don't want it just to be, you want it to look, so a lot of times I learned to just do the dots so it's spaced out, and so it also makes it longer so they can't just like scroll on past you. So it's more eye-catchy but cleaner too. And while I'm thinking about that, I didn't write this down, but if you link your Facebook page, whether it be your personal page or your like page, to your Instagram account to share the photo there as well, make sure that you go in and it doesn't look clean. You want to keep it, as professional looking as possible. In talking about the hashtags, and just make sure you're not, besides right now, usually if you're doing quarter force, doing that with a contest and the Team Beachbody Team Spirit, those are specific to Beachbody. Don't hashtag Beachbody Coach, Team Beachbody, Shakeology, because guess who's going to see those? Other coaches and customers who are working with coaches, and that's not your target. So do things that are specific to you. I might do a workout post, but in my hashtag, I'm doing things maybe not even related to my workout, but people who I want to target. Wine lovers, peanut butter lovers, lab moms, Southern girls, whatever it may be. And make it easy on yourself. Save those hashtags to your phone, because I can spend like 5-10 minutes just like, what's another hashtag, a good one to use? And, save that time for yourself. And I do it like specific days. Like I can use these on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. And again, there's an awesome, I used to use Iconosquare, but it's actually a paid app now. But there is Webstagram, and it is free. And you can go in and you can search hashtags to use. Because sometimes people will use, I'm not a mom, but if you use like Fit Mom or whatever it is, there's 10,000 other people, or million, using that hashtag. So guess what? Your post is getting buried in the rest of those. So you don't want to use one that's been used 9 and 10 million times, but you also don't want to use one that's been used 5 times, because nobody's going to search that hashtag. So I find those that have been used maybe like, a couple thousand to even no. I mean, there's so many people, but I was surprised one time. I was using Fitness Journey till I realized how many people were using it, and a girl did find me from that. And while I'm thinking about that too, one of my most reads, because this is why Instagram is so important, I love Instagram. She told me, she signed as a coach last month, how she found me was she Googled coaches to follow, and my Instagram was like the very first thing that popped up, because I have such a big following now. So I think that's a really cool thing. But yes, Webstagram, to make sure you're using hashtags that are specific to you, not Beachbody, and that are not oversaturated, but will get you some attention. Because now that my coaches have started using hashtags for their posts, they're like, oh, I'm getting way more likes. And I'm like, yes, it's huge. So many more eyes are getting on your post that way. So 4 is the same. I know you've heard over and over with any social media, is you've got to be consistent. I've always made sure that I post a minimum of 3 times a day. I push for 5. I know some coaches that say like 8 to 10, which that's crazy. That's a lot of posts. And I know a lot of people have full-time jobs, you have families, or busy, so you don't have a lot of time to, be on social media posting. So use those schedulers. I know I do a lot of planning on Sundays for my post for at least a week in advance. Shalene, I don't know if y'all use that. She always talks about if this, then that. If you post on one platform, then it automatically, you can choose another platform to go to. And then also Latergram, I think you can use to schedule posts to Instagram. I don't usually schedule my posts to Instagram. I usually do them organically, but I do schedule a lot to Facebook. Number 5, know your market. And this goes back to the insights as well. That's why it's so important to have one account, because I feel like for me, it's accountability for me to post a video of my workouts almost every day. And people tell me, oh, you're the reason I'm going to get up motivated. Like, I actually worked at the hospital today. It was the first time in a while. And I initially planned to get up at 4 to do it this morning, and it just didn't happen. So I, did that, went and voted, and got home, and it was 5, 6 o'clock, and I sure didn't want to do it. And that was hard. I don't know if you're doing quarter force, but that dynamic strength, I was dying. It's hard. But not to get off topic, but they're like, when I posted that and saying I was tired, and they was like, I'm getting up, I'm working out right now. So just knowing that I can motivate them to do that. But those don't get near the feedback as, like I said, just posting something random, funny, and motivational as well. So, and then when I post about my husband, my dog, just know what it is, whatever your target market, your avatar is, focus on that. What are you known for? Like, people, tag me on Facebook for things, for peanut butter, for wine, those type things, and use those. Today being Taco Tuesday, I, was like, yeah, I went to vote. I voted for tacos, just something like that. And people, it gets a lot of engagement. And know your best times to post. I feel like a lot of people have similarities in this, whether it be early morning, lunchtime, then that 3 to 5 when people are getting off work, and then late at night. Like, this time at night, I know is huge. It's not for me, it's my bedtime, but this is like when people start responding to my messages. So this is a huge time to get those posted. A lot of eyes are on social media at this time of night before, they're probably laying in bed just scrolling their social media. Number 6 is following and unfollowing. When I first started, I would just go crazy with this. I was like, whatever I got to do to get 100 new followers a day. Like, I just went balls to the wall with it, and would just go to Whole Foods and start following some of their followers. And it worked. But now I definitely, take advantage of those third-party tools, because it can be time-consuming. And so I have an assistant that does that for me, so I can focus more on my actual conversations, because nobody else can do that, for us, or like we can. So a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard, do the 5-3-1 method. You find somebody and you like 5 of their most recent posts, you comment on 3, and it usually results in 1 follow back. That works for some. And also, one of the new changes on Instagram is if you click the heart at the bottom and you see where people will comment, blah, 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 you scroll them down a little bit. Have y'all noticed where there's a new thing where it's suggested people to follow? There's some, I'm looked and I'm like, that's definitely some people I want to follow on there, because it's obviously probably people that have been liking your stuff and engaging with you, and they can easily get missed. So that's just something to take advantage of there. I really like that they added that. But it's I can't remember, it's been so long since we talked about it, but there's before you get locked out of your account, but it's 500 or something that you can follow. It's a ridiculous amount, so I wouldn't even worry about that. But Two, you also want to not make sure that you're following, 5,000 people, but only 100 are following you. So you want to go back in and unfollow those accounts. Again, I was told in the beginning, go and unfollow everyone. But I do keep my personal friends and family. I continue to follow them. I have a list of don't unfollow these people. So it's just up to you. But I do make sure that every couple of days, usually on the weekends, not Sundays are a good day for social media, but Saturday's always usually a low day for me, so I'll do a lot of unfollowing, or Chris does now, but on that day, just to make sure that, I guess you look important, because if you're following, like I said, 20,000 and you only have 500 following you, it's like, maybe she don't have the best content, so you want those numbers to look. I feel like my following is too high right now. It's like I'm following, even though I have 37,000 followers, I'm following 2,000, and I like to see that under 1,000. And you will, once you get to do that, you'll have people say, oh, well, you unfollow me, I'm going to unfollow you. Okay, fine. That's not the type of people you want to work with anyways. I think that's crazy. I do not track who follows and unfollows me. There's no point in that. Getting yourself worked up over, oh my gosh, somebody unfollowed me, when there's so many people that need our help. But yes, if you need a third-party tool, Fiverr or whatever, the guy I pay is super inexpensive. There is other one, Instagram. A lot of my team use that. They've had good success with it. Although me personally, I don't like the part where, I'm sure a ton of y'all, if not all of you, have gotten spam. So if you use a certain, even one of my coaches, I don't know what hashtag it was, this was a long time ago, it commented on my picture, holy moly, and I'm like, Brian, this don't even sound like something you would say. I was like, what is this? And it didn't relate to the picture at all. And he's like, yeah, I did. I was like, so I don't like the, because you'll get random direct messages or comments on your photos, and I'm like, just cool pic, or something like that. And you want to be genuine in your comments. And talking about comments actually leads me to number 8, and that's engaging with your followers. I say this and I feel like I slack so much sometimes, but I try to, especially if y'all were at Summit last year and Gary Vee. If Gary Vee can follow up with all his people, no telling how many he has, then dang it, we should be able to too. So it's so important that everybody, likes, that would be intense, but especially for people who comment on your photos, one, thank them, make them feel appreciated. 2, compliment them. That's the best 2 things that you can do to make them feel good and let them know that you're truly interested in them and that you care. But yes, always comment back. I try to go back at the end of the day and look through my posts and do that. And on top of that, for my fitness posts, or the ones where I do a coaching opportunity post or create that call to action, and if they've said something on those posts, then I'll comment. But the same thing, and this is on Facebook too, you comment there, but then you turn around and you send them a private direct message thanking them again. I really appreciate all the support. Are you also into health and fitness, or are you currently working on some health and fitness goals, whatever it may be? And they're like, yeah, well, I'm trying. And it's an open door opportunity right there. So take full advantage of that. And I do, once I use direct messaging on Instagram, it's so hard because you'll be having that, and then email, and then Facebook like page, Facebook personal page, people texting you. So I do try to convert it from that to either my email or Facebook as quickly as possible, because it's just hard. I feel like it's easy to lose those conversations in direct message, and I'll be like, hey, are you on Facebook? I would love to connect there. It's just, I tell them straight up, I said, I'm better at checking those messages, and I would love to talk more with you. If not, also have that email list, which I didn't have for at least a year of my business. But it's so important to have because, like I said, you get locked out of Instagram or Facebook, then what? We're going to be a big ball of stress. So having that to fall back on. 9 is just, I kind of mentioned earlier, just be well-rounded, share. I probably share too much fitness stuff because I truly love fitness. I love to work out. The nutrition is the hard part for me. I'm a stress eater. But it's sharing that type stuff. But don't make it, again, it's not about Beachbody, it's about you, and it's about your life. What do you do for work? Tell about your family, what your hobbies, your whatever it is. Share all that, so people can really relate to you on those things as well, because it's usually that draws you to somebody more so than your fitness post, because there are so many of those out there. And just sharing those struggles. I'll notice when I'll get good engagement, like if I'm prepping for a show, when I'm looking my best, it'll be good. But when I am right now in the off season and I'm struggling and I'm binging and stressing and I share that openly with everybody, so many more people can relate to that. So they like to see that. And I know that's hard for us to share. But that's what people can relate to, is those struggles. So it's important to share those and let them know that we're not perfect. We fall off the wagon, but also in those posts to not be negative about it, always end with a positive twist and maybe, what you learned from that struggle. Last thing was just, I kind of mentioned for their direct message, was to convert as soon as possible, bridge to Facebook or email. I'll try to be sneaky sometimes and get both. I like to get their email because I do send out, like my monthly newsletters. But Facebook is where I'm best at actually checking my conversations. So whatever I can do there so it don't get lost in direct messaging. The only other thing, and your call to actions as well. I don't try to do them every post, but at least every 3. And it don't even have to be, with their fitness or coaching opportunity, but in your motivational one, ask them a question. I know a lot of top coaches will share, should I wear this shoe or that shoe, A or B? I'll do it with like nail colors or hair colors, and the comments like explode because everybody likes to give their opinion. So that's always, an awesome way to get some engagement. And also ask them, if you post something funny or motivational, tell them to tag a friend. So to get some new eyes on there, anything like that to help with the engagement. Stories, I kind of slacked on. I shouldn't. As you know, we shouldn't try to be everywhere. As I was at one point, I was trying to do YouTube, working on a blog, Facebook, 2 pages on Facebook, plus Instagram. You just can't. You're going to spread yourself too thin, and you're going to be stressed out, and it's not worth it. I'll focus on 1 to 2 platforms, maybe 3, and just really go all in there and excel at those. So I was using the stories. I was like try to go back from stories to Snapchat and then still post on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm like, geez. But I did get like a couple of people who actually reached out to me through the stories. So many eyes get on those stories. But that's just, your own personal preference on where you feel strong. I probably should use that instead of Snapchat because so many more eyes get seen, but it's hard. So try to be everywhere. Utilize your strengths. Instagram is definitely mine. Like I said, a minimum of 80% of my business has came from Instagram. It's been the game changer for my business. So I think that's all I got. If y'all want to open it up for any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? I wrote down so much. Like a lot of that's because I know like I struggle with, like I always post to my Instagram and then right to my Facebook. And I don't, like I switch it up a little bit, but not nearly as much as I probably should.
Yeah, and I try not to do, like, I do, if I'm running late, or sometimes I'll do the, like I said, the sharing. I do have my, like, page linked to it, but it's, Facebook loves for you to post organically. So I try to do that whenever I can. Even if I do use the same post, I'll just copy it and then paste it directly there, because it does get more eyes for sure.
And you said for the business page for Instagram, I didn't know that they switched over to doing something like that. That's
it's only been a couple of months. It's I think it's in your settings. You can check to go to. Mine's been there since first launched it, but it does, because then if mine will load, I'm trying to look at it. But then at the top of your page, once you pull your Instagram up, it has, of course, mine's still not loading, but it has like little dots, and it'll, if you're not a business account right now, it might not show, but it's the insights, and it's, let me see, I'm trying to close out some tabs. So
mine shows switch to business profile.
Oh, you did do it?
I'm just looking at it. I haven't set one up, but now it's got me to connect your Instagram account to your Facebook page to connect and learn about your followers. So
if you click the far right where it's actually on you can't probably see my phone, can you? It's just a big blur. But the little person to where it goes to your actual profile, then you see the settings up top, then there's like it's not showing. The insight thing is right there.
Yeah.
Is like the little bars, the columns, and then it'll, like it says, insights for this week, November 1st and November 8th, and then it shows me how many impressions I have, so how many people are engaging, and it tells me I'm up 13,700 from last week, so that's a good sign. And it tells you what my posts are, and then even the times, but you can see more, like I was saying. Let me see, even tells me the locations, and thank God it's the United States, because I've always, you will get those people sometimes, and of course, my second one, I cannot wait till one day we're going to expand there. But in Canada, so at least that's my top one. I mean, and it's like no comparison. It's like all U.S. So that's definitely a good thing, because some hashtags, will target other, but you can see the certain day, the time of day, and how that's working for you, how many new followers you've got. Like my age range is still 75% women. And then it tells you the ages that you're mostly relating to.
Right.
So it's pretty neat. It's something we should definitely be taking advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
I have a question.
Okay.
I think you said that you didn't have an Instagram when you first started. You just had a Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
So how long did it take you to gain that following?
I'm trying to remember when I hit. It's actually sad, but since I've got an assistant, I've had him for probably 6 months now. It's slowed down a lot, because I know how much time I was putting into it. But I think with him, he does a better job, because we will focus I think it's higher quality followers now, because we'll do nursing, healthcare for a couple of days, see how that goes. And then we'll swap it up to go to Church of the Highlands. So it's like a big church here in the South. So I target that for a couple of days, and he's like, he'll tell me, Kristi, we're not doing good with this. We need to swap back to something else. So I have specific groups that I target for a couple of days at a time, and I'll keep swapping it back and forth so I don't dry all out. 2 years now, I'm at 37,000, but like I would make sure I'm like, when I did it, I was like 100 new followers a day. Like I was like, it was like a huge goal for me every day, every week, every month. So I grew it really fast, really, really fast. I'm definitely a hardcore Ruby on the personality test. So like anything competitive, I'm like, let's go, you know? So I was like, oh, I can beat that. I can beat that. So it depends on how much time you're willing to put into it. But like I said, I feel like depending on where you're at in your business, for us, we need to focus on growing those relationships and talking, you know, one-on-one. I make my own post just because I use a lot of emojis, a lot of like, you can tell I'm like emotional when I talk. I like caps lock some words and the exclamation points, and somebody else would do it and it would OCD. It would be like lowercase and like no emoji. I'm like, we're not gonna do that. I'll post. So I don't even like for him to like send any type of messages because I don't want to be that type that ever comes across as spammy or whatever. You know, I think being genuine, authentic is so key.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that, is there one thing that you think helps you gain more followers, or do you think it's everything as a whole that you do?
On Instagram,
yeah,
honestly, the thing that I'm proud of the most for that is because people do tell me, Kristi, you're so real. You know, I don't care how I look. I don't try to impress people. I share, like I said, I've gotten very vulnerable with sharing my struggles, and that's what people's like, thank you. You know, I can relate to you. And that's like the past couple of coaches I've signed too. They're like, so many coaches have tried to talk to me, but I can just relate to you and how real you are. Because I don't have my cheat meal every week. I mean, I just am. Some people, you know, try to hide that, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to do it till I just can't even eat no more. And, you know, just sharing that, and, you know, letting them know that, you know, we're not perfect. We're going to have a cheat meal. Like my post in my challenge group today, like it got so much engagement. I was like, all right, Thanksgiving's in a couple of weeks. Let's just go ahead and be real. What are we going to enjoy and not deprive ourselves from? And I'm not, you know, what treats are you going to enjoy? And they're like, hash brown casserole, candied yams. I'm like, yes, you know, but, you know, it's about doing it in moderation and getting back on track. But just, you know, because people, they want to talk about that too. Like another girl in my other challenge group the other day, she was like, I'm so glad you mentioned cheat meals, because some people are like, you know, I'm scared to post about it. So just being real in everything that we do. I would say that, and just being consistent every single day. I make sure that I've got that minimum of 3 posts a day. I do it first thing in the morning. I put, what did I do today? 4 posts a day. And that's like what I was telling my team too, like today being the election, it could have been so easy for us to get caught up in all this craziness. So I was like, it's okay, you know, it's okay to post about it, post that you voted or something funny maybe, but don't get caught up in the controversy, because people are watching you, and if they see you say something negative, or it's not good. So I was like, just be careful, you know, what you said about that. And that's why I was like, I voted for tacos, you know, and everybody's like, yeah, Taco Tuesday, you know. I'm like, yeah, I didn't have them, but I sure would have wanted them.
That's awesome. No, I agree.
One of my kids just fell out of their bed.
Oh no.
Does anyone else have any other questions? No? Everyone good? Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that we had you jump on, and I think we've all learned a lot from this call tonight. I think it'll definitely help us with Instagram and reaching out more.
Awesome. I hope it was helpful.
I am going to follow you on Instagram too. I just
Already stuck.
But well, thank you very much, and everyone have a good night.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.